Hello friends, welcome to the latest video of Sass series. Today we'll talk about partial and import. Hope you all are doing good in your life. Let's move to the lecture. First of all, we have to open VS Code editor. Let's open the VS Code editor. Yes, we have opened the VS Code editor. Let's create a directory and open the directory in your VS Code editor. Today we will talk about partials and import. Now the question arises, what do you understand by partials? In order to understand partial, we have to understand this thing first. The first thing is that Sass transpile all .sass file directly. Now the question arises, what do you understand by Sass file? What do you understand by transpiles? Basically, we have a transpiler, which is also known as source-to-source compiler, that converts our program source code into another at the same level of abstraction. Now, what do you understand by the same level of abstraction? Same level of abstraction means it will convert our source code directly into another code at the same level. Now here is the twist. If you start your file name with underscore, then the Sass compiler will not transpile it. Now, the file which you save with underscore, that file is known as partials in Sass. Now the question arises, what is the use of partials in Sass? Now, in order to make your program modular. Now, the question arises, what do you understand by modular? Modular means in order to divide your program into parts, we call it as modular. Means if you have hundreds of thousands of Sass code, it become difficult for you to debug it. So we divide our Sass code into parts. For each selector, we make a separate partial for it, so that we can import that partials and we can use these files in a separate file, so that it will transpile all the code which is written in partial, and that will become very easier task, and that will become very easy for the programmer to debug it. Basically, the main use of partial is that when we have hundreds of thousands of codes of Sass code, it becomes difficult for the programmer to debug it. The partials and import make this task much more easier by dividing our source code, by dividing our Sass code into parts, and it will become very easier for the programmer to debug all the code very easily, and that Sass file get transpiled into .css, which is understandable by our web browser. Now let's implement all those things which we have studied here. Now let's write a code that will implement partial and import in Sass. Now first of all, we will create index.html in order to write our HTML code. Let's create index.html. Let's write the basic syntax of HTML code. So this is the basic syntax of HTML code. Now let's change the title of the document, and the title of the document is partial and import. Now let's write some HTML code here. So first of all, let's take a nav tag. Now let's take another tag which is header tag. Let's close this tag as well. Now let's take another tag which is section. Let's close this tag as well. Now let's take another tag which is footer. So we have taken 4 tags here. Now we have to write Sass for these tags. So first of all, we have to create index.scss file in order to write our Sass code. Now we have created index.css. Now first of all, we have to link this Sass file into our HTML file so that we can so that our web browser can easily understand this. Now with the help of link, we have to provide the relation, and the relation is a style sheet, and we have to provide the reference, and the reference is index.css. Here we are providing css.css because our browser understands CSS only. That's why we are providing .css file. Our index.sass file get compiled into .css file, which is understandable by our web browser. That's why we are using .css instead of sass. Now we have to write sass code here. So let's write some sass code. First of all, we have to target nav tag. Let's provide the width as 80%. Let's provide height as 200 pixel, and let's provide the background color as pink. Let's save this file. Let's write some sass for header as well. This is header tag. Let's provide the width as, let's say it's 80% as well, and the height is 400 pixel, and the background color is royal blue. Let's copy all these things and paste it here. Let's change the name to section in order to provide sass code to the section, in order to provide a style to the section. Now the width is, let's say here the width is 60%, and the height is, let's say 600 pixel, and the background color is magenta. Let's copy this section. Let's write sass code for footer. Let's say it's 100%. The height is 200 pixel, and the background color is red. Let's save this file. First of all, we have to click on was sass. That will convert our sass file into .css, which is understandable by our web browser. So first of all, we have to click on was sass. That will compile our sass file into CSS. Now save this file and save index.html. Now let's see the output in the web browser with the help of Open with Live Server. Here we are getting this output. Now it looks quite bad. Let's provide some more styling. Let's write some HTML code as well. Inside nav, let's provide, this is navigation bar. In h1 tag, this is navigation bar. Inside header as well, let's provide a text. Let's say h1, and we are saying this is header. Inside section, let's say we are providing h1 tag, and let's say this is a section. Inside footer, let's write this is a footer. Let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. You are getting all these things. Now make this text visible at the center. Now make this text at the center. Now let's write some sass code. Let's make display as flex, justify content center, and align item center, in order to put our text at the center of our text. Let's copy this thing and paste it here. Let's copy this thing and paste it here. Let's copy and paste it here as well. Let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. So you can easily see that our text is centered inside each tag. Now let's do some more styling. Let's make the width as 100%. Here the width is, let's say, 60%, and we are floating it to left. Let's float this tag to left. And section, let's say the width of section is 40%, and let's float this tag as well. Let's make the float as left, and here float is none. Here we have to clear both. Let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. You can see the output in the web browser. It's looking quite bad. Now let's make the height of this header and this section same. In order to do so, it's 600 pixel and it's 400 pixel, so we have to make this as 600 pixel as well. Let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. Now it's looking quite good. Now you can easily see that here you are seeing that we have a very small Sass code. Let's say we are working on a project, then you will come across hundred of thousands of codes, and if you want to debug that particular tag, it becomes difficult for you in order to debug all these tags. For this, partial came into existence that will make our program modular. Means you can separately write Sass code for each element, and you can simply import that element into a particular Sass file, from where you can simply compile that particular Sass file and you will get a particular index.css. Now let's see how to use import in our Sass file. Let's say we have deleted our nav tag from here. Let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. Now you can see that our navigation bar, the Sass code for the navigation bar got deleted. Now save this file. Now let's say we have created another file which is nav.scss, and let's paste the Sass code here for navbar. We have pasted the Sass code for the navbar here. Now save this file. Now let's see how to use import in Sass. So first of all, we have to use @. After that we have to write import, and then we have to give the name of Sass file, and the name of Sass file is nav. Simply we have to use nav. We don't need to provide extension, because our Sass compiler will directly understand that we are talking about this file. Now save this file and see the output in the web browser. Now you can see that the Sass code for the navbar. So in this way you can use import in Sass. Now you can easily look here that we got nav.css. You can see that we are getting nav.css. We don't require nav.css because we don't want to make our task hectic. In order to make our task much more easier, partial came into existence, and we have talked earlier. Here you can see that if you start your file with underscore, then this will not transpile it. The Sass compiler will not transpile it, and this underscore, the file which starts with the underscore, is known as partial in Sass. Now we have to make use of partial in order so that our Sass compiler will not transpile it and will not make a separate .css file for it. That's why we use partial in order to make our task much more easier and much more attractive. Now let's see how to create partial files. Now first of all, let's delete all these things. Let's delete nav.css because we don't require this. We have nav.sass. Let's cut this code and delete this file as well. We require index.css, we require index.css.map, we require index.html, and we require index.sass. We have to delete this part as well. Now let's see how to create partials in Sass. Now first of all, we have to use underscore, and after that we have to give name of that particular element, and the name of that particular element is nav, and we have to save this file with the help of .sass extension. Now let's save this file and paste your Sass code here. Let's save this file, and you have to import this partial file like this. First of all, you have to use @, after that you have to write import, and after you have to write the name of the file. Let's save this file and let's see you are getting the output or not. So yes, you are getting the correct output. Hope you are getting my point. We are getting the output, and that's totally right. Now let's make a separate partial file for all these components as well. Let's cut this file. Let's cut this code, and this is a header part. So we have to create underscore header dot scss. Let's paste the code here. Let's save this file, and we have to import this file here. Inside index.html we have to write @import, and we have to give the name of the file, and the name of the file is header. Let's save this file. Let's see is it working or not. It is working fine. Now let's cut the section part as well. Let's create a partial for section .scss. Let's paste the code here. Let's save this file, and we have to import in index.html with the help of @import, and we have to give the name of the file, and the name of the file is section. Let's cut this footer as well. Let's create a separate partial file for footer. First of all, we have to provide underscore, and we have to write footer.scss. Let's paste the code here. Let's save this file and import in index.sass @import, and we have to write footer. Let's save this file. Let's cut all these things from here so that our VS Code editor looks good. Now let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. Now you can see that we are getting the same output, and our code looks very good. If you want to debug any section, you can easily debug that section. There is no need to check for a large number of code. Simply you have to go to that section, and if you want to add anything, you can easily add that thing. Let's say we are providing the font size as 200 pixel, and this is a navbar. We are providing the font size as 200 pixel. Let's save this file and see the output in the web browser. Now you can simply see that the font size of navigation bar got changed to 200 pixel. This is the use of partials and import that will make your task much more easier in order to debug your code and in order to write your code in a much more efficient way. Hope you all are getting my point. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, then subscribe to my YouTube channel for such videos. One more thing, I have created a WhatsApp group. If you have any query related to this topic or any topic related to web development, you can easily ask your queries on the WhatsApp group. We can try to help you, and in order to We can try to help you and answer all the queries in a much more easier way. Thanks for watching this video.